What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. This is Eric. Today we're going to be reviewing The Black Phone. I checked it out last night. I've really been looking forward to a solid, tight, not overly convoluted horror movie that I can just enjoy. About an hour, 40 minutes, not a whole bunch of nonsense. That's exactly what I got last night with The Black Phone. And this movie was pretty damn awesome. I'm going to get into it right now. It is about a teenager named Finney who is kidnapped by a man known as the Grabber. He's put into a creepy, soundproof room with basically nothing in it but a mattress, toilet, and a mysterious black phone that the Grabber says doesn't even work. Meanwhile, you have Finney's sister, Gwen, and she is using visions that she sees in her dreams to try to help the police, and on her own as well, find the location of her brother. Right off the bat, this movie is really awesome. Hour, 40-minute horror movie with not too much fluff, but it does take time to develop its characters. We get to know the relationship between Gwen and Finney. We see Finney at school, some really awesome scenes. He gets bullied at school, but he does have the protection of pretty much the toughest kid in school, who seems like a really awesome kid, but also don't piss him off because he will jack you up. And there are lots of setups early in the movie that will get paid off later, and I appreciate that. Most of them work pretty damn well. I love the opening scene because it's baseball. There's a baseball game going on, and you see Finney's arm. The dude is a ridiculously good pitcher. I don't know how they got him to throw that ball. Looked like it went in there about 98 miles an hour, and it almost strikes out this kid right at the beginning. The kid gets the best of him. But it's pretty awesome, an awesome scene that gets some payoff later as well. The cinematography, the set design here, the wardrobes, all that on point for late 1970s. There are a few lines here and there that I thought were a little more modern. And I was like, yeah, I don't know if they said that back in 1978, but I'm not really sure. But I thought overall they captured the feel of 1978 really, really well. And as for the rest of the movie, Finney being captured, put in that room. I always love these kind of situations in movies where you got someone in this creepy cell-like room trying to get the hell out. But in this case, he actually is getting help from previous victims who are able to call him on this black phone and talk to Finney and give him advice on how to escape, on what they tried to do, or the processes that they started in order to get the hell out. And each of these individuals had a slightly different experience. Maybe they tried to escape in a different way, and they all give their advice. Not every piece of advice is going to work. Not every escape method is going to work, of course, but it is interesting that they're all working together to try to get the hell out, even though Finney is the only one who is physically there. At least that's what it appears to be. And it's also really scary because you don't know what Finney's future is going to be. Is he going to be later talking on this phone to somebody helping them escape? You don't know the answer. Or is he going to be able to successfully get the heck out of there? We don't know. The Grabber is played by Ethan Hawke. Awesome villain. His mask actually changes depending on his mood, which is a cool touch. Something different. You got to try to compete with some of the iconic masks of the horror past. You know, Michael Myers, for example. Jason. There are so many. Obviously, those are some of the bigger name horror icons. But the Grabber is a great villain. He didn't have a ton of screen time. I would have loved to see him a little more. But when he did, he's creepy. Sometimes he's polite. Sometimes he gets mad. You don't know what he wants. You don't know what he wants. Is he trying to rape these kids? What is his deal? We don't know. That makes it even creepier. He creates situations where, is this a trap? He left the door open. Is this a trap? Should I go through? I don't know. Should I try to get out now? No. There's a reason he left that door open. This dude is smart, right? I don't know. But luckily, with that advice, again, on the black phone that Finney gets, really helps him. Shout out to this movie for not putting a bunch of fake jump scares. Easily could have been. It seems like the setups are there, but they didn't go for that. There are some legitimate jump scares that actually got me a little bit, and I usually see those coming a mile away. So the jump scares were effective. The creep factor is there, and things get ramped up at the end, and it is pretty damn awesome. That's all I'll say. I really enjoyed this movie. There's also a awesome storyline with the father of Finn and Gwen. And I liked it because, you know, they could have easily just made this a alcoholic, abusive father, and that's part of the storyline. But there's reason to it. You actually learn more about why he's that way. Why does he not want Gwen to think her dreams mean something? He tries to convince her they're just dreams. They're nothing. They're just dreams. Well, there's a specific reason why he is so adamant that they are just dreams. And we find out more about that. You might even feel some sympathy for the father, despite the fact that he's abusive towards the kids, which is actually horrible, of course. And there's really no good excuse for being an abusive father. But there are layers to these characters, and it makes the movie a lot deeper. and it makes it a lot better. It could be just a simple horror movie where the kid gets abducted and talks on the black phone and that's it. But no, they really develop these characters and still keep the movie relatively short. They don't make it a 2.5 hour movie. The only character that didn't get a ton of development was kind of the grabber himself. I still don't know all of his motivations or what. I'd love more backstory on the grabber. And speaking of that backstory, we'll get into some of that because the movie definitely left me curious about a lot of aspects. And moving into some of the negatives of the movie, because I didn't think it was perfect, and in some ways maybe even overrated. People are like, this is the best horror movie of all time. I'm like, I wouldn't say all that, but it is a solid, really fun horror film, no doubt about it. But you have the grabber who lives with his brother, and the brother just so happens to be like obsessed with this case, trying to solve it on his own. The cops come to talk to him, and he's got these charts and stuff. He's trying to help him. The cops are like, yeah, you do your thing. Just call us if you see any of the kids, because he just seems like amateur detective and doesn't know what he's doing. But he's trying really hard to solve the case. It's just kind of weird. He's his brother. That's just a weird coincidence, I thought, but okay, I guess it's possible. But some other weird coincidences in the movie as well. I won't list them all out, but some things happen and like, wow, that's pretty convenient. Don't always love that in movies. Plot conveniences, if you will. It's not a ton. It's not like making the movie terrible. Like there's so many movies that it's just like every moment is like, this is so stupid. It's not like that at all. But there are a few moments here and there where it's like, that's convenient. There are a few, like I would say, a little bit of plot holes here and there. There's a situation with the mask. Like at one point the mask comes off and Ethan Hawke's character, the grabber, completely freaks out. And I was like, whoa, so he has to have the mask on 24/7? Because I thought there was a scene or two where he didn't have it on. And besides that, isn't he trying to live a normal life and trying not to, attract suspicion? He lives with his brother there who's who's trying to solve this case. Does he walk around with the mask all day long? And the brother sees him with him, and it doesn't really make sense. So I don't really get that. Well, that kind of came out of left field where he pulled the mask off and he's like, I was like, what? And also with all of the supernatural stuff going on, the movie kind of feels like grounded 1978 film at first, kind of an abduction film, but then you have the supernatural elements, and that's fine. Obviously the black phone, that's awesome, but then you also have the sister, so with the premonition, so there's lots of kind of supernatural elements. None of it is really explained, which is fine. I'm not saying you have to explain everything, but it does leave me curious. I would love to see kind of a prequel or something, to kind of explain the black phone. And if this movie does well enough, that might exactly be what they'll do. But definitely let me curious because there's a lot of supernatural elements and like, whoa, what's going on? Not only do we have the black phone and these kids are able to speak to Finney, even though presumably they've already been killed. Unless are they calling from somewhere else? It doesn't seem like it because we actually get some visions. And there is definitely some supernatural elements going on, but we don't really fully understand why or where these supernatural elements are coming from. It just makes me curious. Maybe it's explained in the short story that this was based on. I'm not really sure. Never read it. But overall, this is just a fun, awesome movie. Great third act. And a few things happen in the end as well. And I'm like, damn, that was a little far-fetched. But you know what? It's a fun ride, okay? It's a solid movie. It's not a stupid movie at all. It's overall a smart movie. A little couple of things I might have changed here and there. A couple of questions I have. Maybe there's explanations for them. I'm not really sure. But overall, I got to be honest, it's just a cool, really compact movie that still takes time to develop its characters. And this film kicks ass. It is freaking awesome. I would highly recommend go check out The Black Phone if you haven't. Thank you guys so much for checking out this review. I hope you enjoyed it. Make sure to hit that thumbs up and hit that subscribe button for more content. I really do appreciate it. Eric's House. We're going to be doing more things really soon. We're expanding, and I'll let you know on all of that really soon. But thank you so much for your support. I appreciate it. Have a fantastic day. We'll talk to you later.